finally some actual basketball to talk about.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you so much for making us your first listener watch to get your Monday going the right way. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Special shout out to all the everydayers and all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course, our great insiders as well. So glad that you're all here. In fact, Coach Rob told me that several everydayers said what's up to him at his book signing over the weekend. Super cool stuff there. Speaking of, coming up on the show today to kick off a brand new week, the first session of summer camp comes to an end for Carolina basketball, but that means that the camp game was yesterday, Sunday, so we'll unpack that. And it's NBA draft week after the finals ended last night. Congrats to the Thunder. Almost Tony Bradley getting a national championship, an NBA championship. But anyway, we want to get updated on Drake Powell and all that, get ready for the week ahead. So that's where we'll start. Camp game round one. Remember that we have two sessions of Carolina Basketball School, which is the name of Carolina Summer Camp. We get a camp game each session and great stuff. Now, you might recall last year, shout out to Tar Heel for Real for getting out footage for all of us out here who are thirsty for anything. We are travelers looking for anything in the desert right now. But nothing like that so far this year. So hopefully some enterprising person has it and just hadn't put it up yet. Or if not, hopefully somebody will be able to do it for all the good people in camp session number 2. But there are some snippets out there. There's some Seth Trimble dunking, a few other just random things I saw. And so, I mean, nothing definitive, nothing you can really take away. So what can we glean? What have I heard from Coach Rob? All of that kind of stuff. Before I say any of that, let me just set a reminder for all of us that anything like this, these camp scrimmages, the blue-white scrimmages, are simply that, scrimmages. That said, let's overreact like crazy because that's what we do, right? No, I mean, legitimately, though, there is nothing of lasting substance we can take away about the team from any of these moments. I get that we're all going to get bent out of shape and overexcited where we shouldn't, or frustrated that this person didn't know that. And I get it and I understand it and I hear it, but just know that nothing that happened yesterday or later this week or in the blue-white scrimmage matters a hill of beans in March or November or December. There's just no real true honest game flow, and in a lot of ways it can become more like an all-star game kind of thing where everybody's just out there trying to dunk on each other, jacking up more threes, not playing in the flow, etc. And so there's just got to remember, massive difference between summer pickup games and an in-season organized team effort in January or February, right? Like wild difference. But Isaac, is there anything we can take away? I think so. I think there are the types of things like you can start getting impressions of players. Again, I think what you don't want to try to take away is any bold statements about the team in its entirety. But you could look at Henri Veesaar and say, well, I noticed this about Henri Veesaar. I like this about Caleb Wilson, or Derek Dixon did this or that or the other. Cool. I feel fine with that. And that's really about all you can take away. That, and then secondly, is you can start looking at chemistry. How are these guys starting to interact? How are they involved with one another? Those kind of things. That is what you can take away. So the game, what actually happened in this game? Big thanks to Inside Carolina for actually I'm not sure who from inside Carolina, but somebody actually did the yeoman's work of putting a little box score together. And here's the breakdown of how things went. It was a team, the white team was all current players. And then the blue team was a combination of alum and the 3 incoming freshmen. I saw several people say it was Caleb Wilson and a bunch of alums. It was that, but it was all 3 freshmen. It wasn't just Caleb. So it was Caleb Wilson, Derek Dixon, and Isaiah Dennis, along with the group of alums that included Cormac Ryan, cool to have him back, Kenny Williams, JP Tokoto, and Garrison Brooks, Garrow. So they had 7 on that team. There were 7 on the other team as well. So that was the blue team, the alum and the freshmen. By the way, when this is happening, we can't just say JP and assume that it's JP Tokoto. We also can't say JP and assume that it's Jonathan Powell because they're both JP. So in these moments, can we please specify if we mean Tokoto or J Powell? Thank you. Appreciate that. Go team. Okay. So the white team, the current guys, basically obliterated the alum and incoming freshmen 71-48. The leading scorer on both teams had the same point total. So we had a co-leading score for the blue team, the alum and freshman. Caleb Wilson was the high score with 16, 4 of 11 from the field. Again, this is all just the unofficial box score that Inside Carolina was able to kind of put together. So don't take it as gospel truth, but whatever. 4 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 8 boards, 2 assists, and a turnover. For Derek Dixon, 3 points, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 boards, 2 assists, and then Zay Dennis, which Isaiah Dennis, I saw when he was wearing his name tag the other day, he had Zay Dennis on there. So I'm going to call him that until further notice. Anyway, for Zay, 3 points, 1 of 5 from deep, 2 steals, and an assist. And that's not what he's known for, is the threes. But again, it's these moments where everyone's jacking up shots, and so you expect it. So then the white team, the group of all current guys, was Seth, Jonathan Powell, Kyan Evans, Henri Veesaar, Zayden High, Jaden Young, and Jarin Stevenson. Once again, same thing. Leading scorer had 16 points, and that was Jonathan Powell. How about that? 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and 3 boards. So great to see that. Caleb Wilson having a good effort and a good day. But really cool to see Jonathan Powell do it. I think, somebody that, we'll get back to that in just a second. But anyway, Jonathan Powell leading scorer, followed by Seth with 15, 6 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, 3 assists, a steal, and a board. Veesaar, 12 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 7 boards, an assist, and a turn. Kyan Evans, 11 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 steals, 2 assists, and a turn. Stevenson, 5 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 boards, and a turn. And then Jaden Young, 3 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. He's not a good 3-point shooter, and 1 steal, or at least it wasn't last year, I should say, by percentage. So that's just kind of the stats and the data of the game. So we'll look at some takeaways and things like that, but that's where we want to head next as we continue on the conversation. What are some of the things we learned and some observations and just a few early things from Coach Rob? Not much yet, though, but we'll get to all that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel, summer sports are in full swing. And whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. You can use FanDuel to track your favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, it's fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. I think that's so cool. So whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're part of the action. How about this? This is really cool. For the NBA draft coming up later this week, you can bet on who will be each pick of the top 10 picks. So if you go look at 5th overall pick, there's a list of names. You can pick who you want and go with that. But there's also things like you can bet if someone will be a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick, top 20. So you can go into the top 20 picks and you see Drake Powell. is plus 1,400 to be a top 20 pick. If you're all in on DP going top 20, man, get in on that action for sure. How about this, though? I would not encourage you to bet on Cooper Flagg to be the number 1 overall pick because he is minus 100,000. Wow. Anyway, new to FanDuel, great. New customers just like you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So some takeaways, some observations from this camp scrimmage game round 1. Of course, again, we don't have full footage of it, so it's not even worth trying to glean much information from any snippets you see. Hopefully, someone will put something out again, but whatever. One of the things, the big points of consternation for people coming into this thing is RJ Davis is out the door. Who is going to be this team scorer? For me, all along, it's been like, well, it's going to be a lot of different guys. And I think that's a good thing because you can't just key in on RJ and be like, we're going to shut down RJ Davis. And then good luck. Somebody else has got to do it. Now, it could be Luka Bogavac. It could be Henri Veesaar. It could be Caleb Wilson. Could be Jonathan Powell. Could be Seth Trimble. Lots of options there. And more that I didn't even say. I'm just named a few Tar Heels. I legitimately would not be surprised to see a whole bunch of different guys lead a multitude, be the leading scorer in a multitude of games. And not just that, but I don't know, we're talking specific scoring right now, but the leading this or that or the other, rebound or steals or whatever it is. And in this particular game, obviously it's not a full game. It's all of those caveats. But you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Tar Heels scoring double digits with Zayden High at 9 just behind them. And so how cool to see Jonathan Powell come in and drop 16. There's a different Powell that everyone's like, I can't believe he's leaving for the draft. And it's like, okay, well, same last name guy, come in and do some work here, right? And a very efficient 6 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. That's what he's got to do. He's a big guy. He's a shooter. Come in and grab a couple, had 3 rebounds. Man, just got to compete and do things like that. And if Jonathan Powell's putting the ball in the bucket and grabbing boards, this team's going to go a long way, right? So that's the kind of thing you're encouraged to see, is that kind of thing. And so I really like that. In fact, I didn't want to push the issue with Coach Rob because I know things are busy for him right now. He'll intentionally pull away later this week to be able to record a show. But while he's there and while he's in the midst of stuff, we'll text a good bit, but try not to take too much of his time because I know he needs to be focused on what he's doing. But in just our little short interchanges on Sunday throughout the stuff, biggest takeaway from him was very understated, but the guy shot it well today, was what he said to me. And so I just went back and counted up. Again, who knows if this box score from Inside Carolina is completely accurate, but the current players shot a combined 17 of 52, 32.7%. The reason I say current players is I just didn't include the alums numbers in there at all. And that's encouraging. And of the 10 guys that played from the current roster, 7 of the 10 made at least 40% of their threes, and 6 of the 10 made at least 50% of the threes. I know small sample sizes, both in terms of individual effort and in group effort, but I don't want to be jaded by that 32% because that's not representative. That part of that is Seth going 2 of 7 and Jaden Young going 0 of 3. I don't think Jaden Young is going to be taking many 3. Seth might. And so you would like the team average when they actually do it to be higher than 32.7. But you take away what Seth did and what Jaden did, and it's much higher. So ultimately, I just like to see the entire team taking them, right? Like the last year, Van Allen Lubin was not going to take threes. All the years prior, Armando's not taking threes. This year, I think everyone will shoot. And that's nice. Henri Veesaar is going to put them up. Caleb Wilson's going to shoot. Jarin Stevenson going to shoot from 3. And so that's encouraging to now have a more modern front court. And we know that a Hubert Davis team, when you've got a legit stretch four, that's what that's when things are going really well. So that is encouraging. From some of the few clips we have seen, it's just good to see Seth out there dunking on everyone, getting everyone hyped. There I saw one of him jumping over Zayden High to dunk, and all the guys crowded around. We talked last week about needing to see Seth be a leader. It's little things like that. I'm really curious to talk with Coach and find out what he's been seeing in that regard. But just neat with some of those kind of things. Second, one of the other things that was kind of passed along was that Veesaar wasn't establishing himself in the post much. And some of that is Garrow is a very experienced big, and he's not going to let him just get in there. But also, I think with Veesaar, he is a guy that wants to float some and to shoot some. And also it's pickup, right? So there's that. It's kind of a two-edged thing. But I think when you think about Henri Veesaar, yes, there will be times that he's in the post, but I don't want you to think of him as a Garrison Brooks, as an Armando Bacot, who's just going to live in the paint and in the lane. Veesaar is going to get out and move some, and that's good ultimately, because what does it do? It opens up the lane for driving lanes for Kyan Evans and Seth. Like, let Seth get out and run. Let Caleb Wilson get out and run. And so that's just something to be aware of as well. And then another thing, just from an observational standpoint, and this has come to me from multiple people actually, is some version of, hey, we knew this team was going to be taller, but this team is taller. And right, like, it's like, yes, thank you. They measured that way, and they measured taller than the previous team. But it's just, it's noticeable. The bigness, the more bigness of this team than previous. And does being a bus team win you basketball games? It absolutely does not. And by bus team, I mean, like, you look good getting off the bus. That's what I call just a team that looks good or intimidating, whether that's football or basketball or whatever. They get off the bus and it's like, ooh, right? That's a bus team. So just because you're a bus team doesn't mean you're going to win basketball games. But boy, does it put you in a better situation to hopefully be able to win basketball games than last year was. So that's helpful. I mentioned that 10 of the current guys played. There was no Luka Bogavac. Obviously, he's not here yet. Again, want to get him as soon as possible. And then James Brown also didn't play. And again, I haven't wanted to bother Coach Rob too much about stuff. So I haven't asked him about why with James Brown yet, or he might not know. Sometimes the guys don't play. Like the other night during one of the pickup games, he said, hey, Seth's not playing tonight, whatever. It's just like, it happens. And so we'll see if there's anything of note about James Brown, or maybe just he had something going on. Who knows, right? I remember one time there was a scrimmage that somebody couldn't come to. I can't remember who now, forgive me, because they had a test they had to take for like summer school or something like that. So it could be any number of things. So anyway, more to come from this. If we do get a video of the full thing, we'll do more of a breakdown. If not, we'll wait till we talk to Coach Rob and get more info from him, which again, sounds like his book signing was really neat Saturday at Alumni Hall. Big thanks to Alumni Hall for having him do that. And I'm excited for him to just be able to talk about it from his side of things, but it sounds like books have been selling like crazy in person and online. That's really neat. And so, man, just love to see our family, the Locked On Tar Heels family, coming together in some of those ways. Now, so this first session of camp wraps up today, Monday. Then Montrose camp is tomorrow, Tuesday through Wednesday. And then the second session of Carolina Basketball School is Wednesday through Saturday, with the camp game, I believe, will be Friday again of the second session here. And I believe it's at 3:00 again, but we'll have Coach Rob verify that for us. All right. So there you go. Man, just great to have basketball to talk about. Guys playing, guys on campus. It's so good. All right. It is draft week for Drake Powell. And boy, do we want to see him go as high as possible. Where will that be? We'll find out hopefully Wednesday. Why Wednesday? I'll explain that in just a second. It's draft week. NBA draft coming up later on this week. It'll be Wednesday and Thursday. Remember last year, the NBA made a switch to splitting up the NBA draft into 2 nights. Round 1 is one night, round 2 the next. For this year, that will be round 1 on Wednesday, which is June 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Round 2 will be Thursday at June 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So the reason I say we want to make sure to see Drake drafted Wednesday is because we want to see him go in the first round. For Drake, it seems like he will be the only Tar Heel drafted this year. That in and of itself, I wouldn't say it's a frustration, because you're going to have years where you have guys and other years where you don't. But it seems like it's been quite a few years in a row here of either not many Tar Heels being drafted or nobody elite, that kind of thing. Meanwhile, we sit and watch Duke having, probably 3 lottery picks. Obviously Cooper Flagg, Conkanipple, Common Malawach, and probably a 4th first-round draft pick. It's a lot, right? And so the talent discrepancy is clear and obvious. And so just got to keep working, got to keep getting the right personnel in. And so the hope this Wednesday, both for Drake's sake and for Carolina's sake, is for him to go as high as possible. We need some Cameron Johnson action here. And if you don't remember that, when 2019, when Kobe and Cam were being drafted, and Nasir, I guess, Kobe had just gotten drafted, and then out of the blue, Cam goes much higher than expected, and that whole Kobe White reaction, you'll remember that. That's what we want to see, is just like Drake unexpectedly hop into the lottery or something like that. That said, I don't think Drake's going in the lottery. And he's got a wide range of outcomes, it seems like. Like, I think he could sneak into the late teens somewhere, and have also seen him as low as early 2nd round. If I were putting my stamp on it today, I'm going to say late 1st for Drake. And guess what? That would be great news for Drake Powell if that's what happens for him to go late 1st. I'll give you 4 reasons why. Number 1, that means that more than likely, unless there's some trades that happen, he's going to play for a competitor, because competitors draft at the end. For example, Oklahoma City, who just won the NBA championship last night, is drafting 24th. Boston is drafting 28th. One of those teams could snag him. Boy, what a great spot for Drake Powell to come into. So, late 1st round, great, because he'd probably go to a competitor. Number 2, it would also probably mean going late 1st round that he wouldn't be as needed right away. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go 4th overall, it's like, we need you to come in and do work now because we're in rebuild mode. It's like that. That's not the case. If you go to a team that's in a good way, that's toward the end of the 1st round. He's not needed right away. That means he can take time, right? Like, if it was football, he could be the clipboard guy. 3rd reason I think it's great that Drake might go late 1st round is that it gives him an opportunity, while he's not just needed heavily right away, to learn from vets all the more. It's less threatening if a guy's coming in. It's like, he's probably not going to take your job immediately. Where Drake seems like the kind of person with his personality and temperament where he would come in and just say like, hey, what can I learn? What can I glean? Help me. And so learning from vets in a healthy, good franchise is a win. And then 4th reason I like the possibility of Drake going late 1st round here is it means that he can slide in and play his role really well. Because what I mean by that is, if a team is already solid, they're not just going to throw Drake in there and say, all right, go have fun out there, buddy. They're going to say, all right, we see all these things Drake Powell can do. We see the defensive capability, individually and team. We see the athleticism. We see the blocking shots as he flies over guys. How can we utilize what he brings to the table to help us take even yet another step forward? Like, if he goes to the Thunder, they're like, okay, how can we slot in Drake Powell to make us an even more solid national champion or NBA champion? Good grief. I mean, college basketball mode all the time. And so that's why I love the possibility of him on Wednesday night going late first round, is for all of that. Play for a competitor, wouldn't be needed probably right away, can learn from the vets. And when he does play, he can be very specifically in a Drake Powell role, because that's what they would need. So I like that. I hope that's absolutely what happens on Wednesday night, is that Drake, good grief. Ultimately, yes, we'd rather see him go higher, but I think maybe the best situation right out of the gate is for him to be in the mid to late 20s. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll track all that and talk about it on probably on Thursday's show. It's a little bit of a weird week, but we'll see. Speaking of weird, it's saying all this about Drake Powell. It's still so weird that in the same breath, I'm not saying it about Ian Jackson. Good grief. This time last year, I don't think we would have even dreamt of a world where Ian Jackson was coming back to college rather than, being 48 hours away from getting drafted. That feels weird. It's so weird. But he's not. He's at St. John's. And I guess I will say, good for Ian for recognizing, like, maybe not ready yet, and not forcing the issue. Because so many guys, when they think they're one and done, it's hard to change that mindset. So good for Ian. And then the last thing I want to say about the draft stuff is, obviously Drake's the only one we expect to get drafted, but there is an RJ Davis out there floating. There is a Jalen Withers out there floating. And what will become of these guys? Assuming they're not drafted, which is a safe assumption, will they sign as UDFAs, undrafted free agents somewhere? Will they get a camp invite? Will we see them at Vegas in the Vegas League early, pretty much right after the draft? That's something we'll start tracking and chasing and watching as well. And if not, if they can't stick, there are a multitude of North Carolina Tar Heels that have made a very good living for themselves and seen the world by playing internationally. There's no shame in that game. Good grief. I just saw a clip the other day of Theo Pinson hitting a 3 on Brady Manick. It's awesome. It's so cool. And as part of that, for RJ or Jay Wood or whatever, it's like you've got guys that have, I like a Deion Thompson, for example. It's like, done it all, seen it all, been all over. Can just say, sure, RJ, here's what you need to do, buddy, right? And just take care of Tar Heels, taking care of Tar Heels. That's cool to see. All right, much more to come this week. Got a couple more scholarship offers out there. Pat Kilby going to be back on the show this week. We're going to make a comparison that Pat actually talked to me about the other day between the Thunder that just won the championship and the Tar Heels. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a great week. Later on in the week, just personal life things. My son and I are going to church camp, and I'm really looking forward to that Thursday through Saturday. So if you're a praying person, just pray for those moments. Really looking forward to it. All right, guys, great to be together to start the week. I hope you had a good weekend. If you've not subscribed to Locked On Tar Heels on video and audio, go ahead and do that right now so you don't miss a second of the show. If you've not joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, go ahead and do that. That link is in the show notes. Free to join. We'd love to see you when they're hanging out, talking Tar Heels with us all the time. And if you want to go even next level with the show, Locked On Tar Heels Insider Program. It's a great way to go next level with the show. Got access to my database of charts and record books and all of that kind of stuff, and one-on-one direct conversation with me as well. All right, y'all, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.